What's up guys, Dave here with another One Piece video. This time how we're going to kick off OP02. New format, new cards. Had a great pre-release weekend, managed to pick up one of these, and hopefully we'll be posting some more deck profiles for what I think the decks are going to start looking like in this new format. Anyway, the first deck that I'm going to play in this format is definitely KINEMON. I've been testing this deck on the simulator for a few weeks now, and this deck is like absolutely crazy. You just get to play a lot of stuff for free. You end up with like a lot of cards. It's just an absolutely nuts deck. For those of you that don't know what he does, glare. If you've got one or less characters, the next time you play a 3-drop or higher land a Wano dude, which is like more than 50% of your deck now, you get to play it for one less. And one less doesn't sound like a lot, but it really, really does matter. So enough of him. On to the deck. Oh, don't drop anything. To start with, we have 4 Momonosuke. The biggest difference between this and the kid deck from last format is that the ratios switched. So the other deck had like a lot of the supernova cards, and this deck has a lot more Land of Wano cards to take advantage of his ability. But this is just your searcher for the deck. You want to see this as often as possible. New addition, we got another searchable blocker, Toki. So it's kind of a blocker, but it also gets 1k counter, so it's fine. She's only a blocker if you've got Kozuki Oden, but you'll see that in this deck you've got 11 copies of Kozuki Oden, so the chances that you have this with an Oden, with as much as you search through the deck and as much as you draw, you'll see that it's not too hard to get a Kozuki Oden on the board with her. And again, she's 1k counter, so like she's not bad at all. I've seen a lot of lists in the OCG cut this card entirely, which I think is absolutely incorrect, because weenie blockers are still a thing in the format. So like you want extra ways to take care of them. This card just means game in a lot of scenarios, so like I think playing 3 of it is still good. I wish I had room for a 4th, but I just wanted to make room for other cards. Onto the 3-drops. Still playing Izo. She is still ridiculous, or he is still ridiculous. So 2k counter. You play this a lot more now because it only costs 2 in a lot of scenarios. But like again, mostly 2k counter. This card has turned into your best turn 1 play going second, because you get to play it on your first turn. Now, it doesn't feel like a lot, but getting to play this on your first turn puts you in such a good position, because now your opponent has to play a dude into this, and if they play something that's lackluster into this, then you literally just get to kill the dude for free, and from there you're kind of off to the races with keeping the board clean. In this deck, I wasn't a fan of this card in the kid deck, but in this deck it is absolutely bonkers, because you can play it again for cheaper, and you get more cards off of this than you could before, because you're relying more heavily on your searches. So like the idea is, going second, you want to see one of these 2 cards, and if you end up playing this card, you really want to see it with one of the searchers, so the Momonosuke or Bonnie, and then you just get to start drawing 2 cards a turn, and then like it just gets out of hand really quick, and you get so much advantage. New person, 4-drop Yamato. This is the best rare in OP02 by a lot, in my opinion. 4-drop, 6k, tap down a 6 or less. This being able to tap down 6 or less is absolutely huge. So it taps down Queen, it taps down Sakazuki, it taps down all the good blockers. Like, this card is absolutely insane. If you go first, this is definitely the card you want to play on turn 2, because you get a lot of really good tempo with being able to tap down any one of their guys they can play on that turn, killing it, and then just having a 6k on board. Something else cool about this deck is that you can play this card and it's not complete garbage. In the green decks before, this card was like not good because like you didn't have ways to back it up with anything, but in this deck you can play it for cheaper, and you can also get through your swings more because you're playing so many more and have so many more ways to get your tap down guys out. So you can just like tap down whatever blocker is sitting in this thing's way, and then all of a sudden you're swinging like 9k double strike banish, which is like a huge thing. And if this actually connects, then usually the game ends on the spot. So like this card is really good, and again, 1k counter, so like it's not terrible. Last part of the Wano part of the deck is new boss monster, Kozuki Oden. This card is absolutely insane. Like, This doesn't have the same broken effect that the Kid Leader has. This effect is broken, but it's a different kind of broken. This card is a main deck Leader Kid. You swing, pay 3, stand it back up. So you get to swing 8 twice, which is absolutely ridiculous. And if they decide to kill it, you get to play one of your 3 drops. So you get to play Okiku, you get to play Raizo, or you get to play Izo. Most of the time, you're just playing Okiku, but, like, in niche scenarios, if, like, you're losing and you need to live, then you'll summon, you'll get Izo to tap down one of the attacks. Or if you're, like, just feeling yourself or all your Izos are gone, then you can go get Raizo and then just start getting cards. So, those are all the Wano cards. Next, we are still playing Supernova cards, but the ratios I'm still trying to figure out, but this has been working for me so far. 3 Bonnie. Now, it's the same rationale as with the Kid Green deck, except in this deck, your Wano cards are the cards that are winning you the game instead of the Supernova cards, so it makes sense to just play less of this. But it's still really good. It gets you really, really powerful cards. Next, this is where the ratios get kind of weird. Only 2 beige, because again, we have another searchable blocker in the form of Toki, and Toki's usually always live because, again, you've got like a million copies of Kazuki Oden in your deck. So, like, this card is still very good as a 1-drop blocker, but you use Toki a little bit more than you use this card. 3, again, weird ratios. 3 of the blocker killer. I'll speak to it later on in the profile, but only 3 of this because it costs 2 and like you're just trying to get your numbers right. But if there's a turn where you can like play a good Wano dude and then play this dude at the same time just for a blocker, then it's really, really good. And he's still really good to like get to draw cards sometimes. More 2K, Scratchman Oppo. He's still just a 2K. Like, you could, if you wanted to, like, there's a version of this deck that cuts the, most of the Supernova stuff entirely. So, like, you cut Bonnies, and you can make this, like, excuse me, you can make this the Carrot instead, the new 5-drop 2K counter. But, like, even still, you'd probably just play this card as a 2K counter, which is all it's serving right now anyway. 2X Drake, particularly now in OP02, there are a lot of, like, 4-drop and lower cards that are really impactful, so just getting to clap back with this and then sticking a 6K body with Whitebeard in the format is very, very good, because like just getting a swing on that deck in and of itself is good, because they like it gets cards out of their hand, and that's all you want to do. So this card is like actually really good. Still playing 2 of the Law Blocker. I know before I said green decks should play 4 of this at all times, but again, like new format, which means like kind of new set of rules and we have to adapt. There's a world where this card is just like out of the deck, to be honest, but I think this card is still very, very good. Getting to recycle your tap down guys, getting to like bring back 2K counters that you had to play, and then getting a blocker, or like bringing back a searcher and then summoning a tap down guy to swing for game. Like, there's just so much potential with this card to not at least have it in a list somewhere. 2 cards left, and mostly because I can't let them go, but also because like they are still very good. Like, through testing, this card is boo-boo in the blue matchup, so if you ever draw this card, then it was going to sit in your hand the whole game. But against literally every other matchup, this card is absolute fire, because with 1 Don, it swings for good numbers into Whitebeard, and 8 is just like a good number to swing anyway to get to stand up and block on the crackback. And this guy, there's still just a lot of decks that cannot deal with him. With the amount of stuff you can do in this deck, if you're like in a rut, which sometimes happens, you can just play this guy and still sit behind him. Even if they end up having enough juice to kill him, it bought you the turn that you needed to like play your Odin and a blocker on the next turn to be able to get back into the game. So like, these 2 cards are still very, very good. Like I said, there's a world where you can like cut these and cut the laws to play like more of the little things and rely more on the Wano cards to win the game. But I think these 2 cards are still very, very strong, and like if I could make room for more of them, I would. But as of right now, the deck space is very, very tight. Like, it's super duper tight for everything that I want to play in the deck. So that's the new list for OP02 that I'm going to start with. Of course, there'll be adjustments. If you guys like this kind of stuff, I'll be posting some more videos, more deck profiles of the new decks in OP02. So yeah, look forward to that. Peace.